going to be honest. For a long time, I didn't tell the story about what happened at my previous job, what really made me quit, because I was a little bit embarrassed. I was a little bit embarrassed that I was a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner doing rounds in the hospital, talking to everyone with mental health disorders, with anxiety, with depression, with all these mental health disorders. And I had a panic attack at work. I was a little bit embarrassed about that. But now I said, you know what? Own it. That is what makes you you. That is why you're here in Ghana right now. That is how you're living your dream life because you had a panic attack at work. I did, y'all. I had a panic attack at work, my first and last. Because guess what? I was not in alignment with my desires. I was not in alignment with my soul's purpose. I was not. I wasn't living my life for me. And my body was speaking to me, y'all. My body kept trying to warn me. My body was telling me. My body was giving me all the signs and the signals. And because I felt so comfortable with a salary, I felt so comfortable with a paycheck, I said, no, this not real. No, I love the check. No, I love my PTO. No, I love my insurance. No, no. I kept pushing it away. I said, no, this is not real. This is not real. Until one day at work, I just couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it. And the universe is so smart. The universe is so funny. And if you're new here, y'all, I am highly intuitive. I'm very spiritual. And I'm going to tell you what happened. I received a message from my brother who passed away in 2016, and I was so weirded out. And it was right there at my job. And I even had to call my coworker to confirm because at one point I said, okay, you might need to evaluate me because she's also a psychiatric consultant. I'm like, hey, you might need to evaluate me because I think I'm tripping. I think I'm tripping. That's how loud the signs come in. That's how loud the universe speaks to you when you are not in alignment. The universe screams to you and lets you know you're not in alignment. You're not in alignment. We're telling you, we're trying to warn you. But little old me, who do these evaluations all the time, who see these signs and symbols all the time, even for me, I was rejecting the signs. I said, no, let me call my coworker. I think I'm tripping. And she's like, no, girl, you're not tripping. It's happening for real. For real. And I got a visit from my brother who passed away in 2016. He visited me at my job, and it was so freaky, y'all. And I don't speak about this as often as I should, but I wrote an article on Substack about this experience. So if you want to head to Substack, I want you to read my story because I won't really tell you all the details here. But yes, y'all, my brother showed up in the hospital from the other side. That's how I knew. I said, okay, it's time to go. It's going to be time for me to go soon because at this point, I can't ignore it. I'm already feeling anxious. I'm already feeling overwhelmed. My body is giving me all these signs. I'm having all these dreams. And now I get to work and I get a visitation from my brother who passed away in 2016. What is going on? What is going on? So, as a psychiatric consultant, I was always extra prepared. So, I will always log into my work computer before I get to work, and I will look at my list of clients and see who I need to see for the day. And this particular day, y'all, I looked at my client list and I said, just like that, I said, oh my God, what? For the weeks before that, I was already experiencing like anxiety like symptoms. It wasn't a full blown panic attack, but I was feeling anxious and nervous and I couldn't sleep. Things just wasn't feeling right. And I kept telling my coworkers, I just don't feel good. I don't feel right. Like, I just don't know. So I checked my consult list and there it is right there, my brother's name. And I said, okay, coincidence, right? The universe said wrong. God said wrong. Wrong. And I said, okay, let me look at the birthday. I looked at the birthday, y'all. Same birthday as my brother. I said, no, 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 no. I said, another coincidence. Meanwhile, I'm very spiritual. I'm very intuitive. But because I felt so comfortable with the salary and my benefits, I kept writing it off like maybe it's a coincidence. So, okay, check the birthday. Same birthday. I said, okay, another coincidence. So I checked the chief complaint. When you come in the hospital, you tell them, hey, this thing is going on with my body or I'm having these symptoms, and that is your chief complaint. So I looked at the chief complaint, and the chief complaint, y'all, was the same diagnosis that my brother had when he passed away. The same diagnosis that I also found out that I have after my brother passed away. I said, okay, the same name, the same birthday, the same diagnosis. I said, this is it. I'm psychotic. I said, this is it. I'm psychotic. So I called my coworker. I said, hey, can you please check this out? Because we share consults and we always help each other out. I said, hey, can you check this out for me? Because something just don't feel right. I don't know what's going on. And she confirmed it. I said, maybe I'm psychotic. No, she confirmed. She said, no, girl, something is going on. I said, when I get to work, you're going to have to stay on the phone with me because I don't know what's going on. So I felt like when I was going to ride on that patient, I felt like I was walking into the principal's office. I truly felt like I was in trouble because I knew what God was already trying to show me in my visions. I already knew what my dreams were telling me, and I already knew what my body was telling me too. Because when you're not in alignment, your body will tell you. Your body will tell you every single time. You will experience these physical manifestations that feel like I'm overwhelmed, feel like stress, feel like panic attacks, feel like depression, but really is misalignment. So I go into the patient's room and I'm just like, oh gosh, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble now. I done did it now. Did it. And just so happened, typically when I get a consult, it's always a reason for the consult. This particular patient, no reason. It was no reason. So I called the doctor. I said, hey, you consulted me for this patient, but I don't see a reason for the consult. He's like, oh, I just want you to go check on him. Just go talk to him, see what's going on. I said, okay. Just like that. I was like, all right. So I go in the patient's room and I'm just like, hey, how are you? And I was like, they consulted me. And that's normally not how I am. I'm normally just so lively and excited. But I was just like, hey, I was consulted. He was like, well, yeah, I don't want anything. I'm fine. He didn't really need anything. I think he just needed me to be there and to see him. Like, hey, we see you. Wake up. Wake up. But also, when I left the room, I was downloaded with all this information. And the message told me, if you don't leave this hospital now and go live in your purpose, this is going to be you next. And I was like, oh. And I called my coworker and she was like, okay, well, what did you get? I said, girl, I can't tell you. I don't want to tell you. Because it scared me so much because I already knew what was going to happen. If I don't leave this place, if I don't actually go live my purpose, then this is going to be me next. And I didn't want to tell her that. So I said, okay, I'll wait like 3 months. Let me plan. Let me save up more money. And then I'll do it. Y'all. 2 weeks later, it took 2 weeks, y'all. 2 weeks later, I found myself sitting in the meeting at work. Then I had a full blown panic attack. I had a full blown panic attack in a meeting. I couldn't breathe. I thought I was dying. And the only thing that I could think about was that consult. The only thing I could think about was my brother. The only thing I could think about were those downloads. And I said, you know what? Never again will I ignore these things. Never again will I ignore the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities, my visions, my dreams. I said, never again. And guess what? I was in the hospital bed. And I said, okay. You got me. I said, you got me. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. This is it. And that day I promised myself to, no matter what I have to sacrifice, no matter what I have to do, I will live in my purpose. I will walk in my purpose. And I did. From that day on, everything fell apart. Once I made up my mind in that hospital bed, everything fell apart. Literally, my house was damaged by the hurricane. Hurricane Helene came through and wiped my basement. It was just like God said, okay, you agreed to it. So we're going to wipe the slate clean now. We're going to take away everything. Boom, 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 boom. Friends, the house, everything. I said, okay, ease up, God. You got to do me like that. This is so quick. This is so soon. And just so happened, I had a flight scheduled for Ghana in December. And I said, well, I have this flight in December. What if I just don't come back? Because I've always wanted to travel the world anyway. I've always wanted to just walk in my purpose. Maybe I should just do it now. I have this flight. Let me just stay. And that's what I did. And once I made that decision to go ahead and walk in my purpose and be in alignment with what I truly wanted, what I truly desired, all the symptoms of anxiety went away, wiped away. All the symptoms of depression went away. And I don't know how. I don't know how I managed to get everything done. I packed up everything. I sold everything. I sold my car. And I had 4 suitcases. I said, okay, I'm here. I had 3 Airbnbs and 4 suitcases. I said, well, if this is truly what you're telling me, you'll figure it out when I get there. I don't know anybody, but you do. so tell them I need a favor. So y'all, I got to Ghana in December. And I'm like, okay, I'm here, God. Help me. And I received help. Doors after doors after doors continue to open for me, and I just don't know how. I felt 100% better. I looked better. My skin got clearer. The anxiety went away. Everything just fell in place. And it's still falling into place now. I'm not saying that everything is perfect now, but everything is falling into place. And I'm learning more and more about myself as the days continue. And so I said, okay, moving forward, I'll continue to listen to the signs. I'll continue to listen to the symbols and the dreams and the visions. And I'm going to just put all this together and I'm going to help everybody else do the same thing. Because I noticed that a lot of my clients who come to me have anxiety, depression, panic attacks, PTSD. And when it boils down to it, they're not living the life that they desire. They're living their life for other people. And so now, from my personal experience, it has helped me to identify where everyone else is blocked. It has helped me to identify these patterns that everyone else is experiencing to help me shift their energy and also walk in alignment with their purpose, with their vision, with their desires. So I just felt like God took me through all that to get here to serve myself, to serve other people who want to live in their purpose, who want to be in alignment with their desires. And I said, you had to do all that though? God, you're so creative. You're so creative with it. Funny, but not haha. So that's my story. That's my journey. That's how I got here. That's how I began to live in alignment with my desires, with my life, because honestly, I was forced. And I knew that panic attack, it has never happened before. So it already put me on high alert. If this is something new, what is causing it? Because I'm going to find the root cause. And once I find the root cause, we're going to fix this, we're going to shift this energy, and we're going to go ahead and live our dream life. And that is what I do in my practice now. I help you get in alignment with your dream life by identifying your subconscious blocks and to shift your perspective and get you in alignment with your dream life and your desires. That is what I do. I truly enjoy it. I truly enjoy traveling the world. I am much happier now. I am much lighter now. I am much more healthier now. And my hope is to help everyone else do the same thing. And if that's you, sign up in the bio. I have coaching programs, I have one-on-one sessions, and I have books that'll help you move and shift your perspective so you can increase your vibrational frequency to now become a magnet to your heart desires. So I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope that anything that I said today, I hope it resonated with you. And I hope if you are the one who wants to shift your perspective and live in alignment with your desires, I want you to go ahead and sign up in the bio, y'all. Talk to you soon.